Hi, I'm Joachim for Statistics Globe, and in this video I'll explain how to modify numbers with a comma as separator using the R programming language. In the video I'm going to show you several examples, and the first example is based on the vector object that we can create with line 2 of the code. So if you run this line of code, you can see at the top right of RStudio that a new vector object appears, which is called myvec, and we can print this vector object to the RStudio console by running line 3 of the code. And then you can see at the bottom that we have created a new vector with 3 values. And you can also see that these values are separated by a comma. So in case this separator is used to separate the thousands of our values, then we might want to remove this comma, because in the R programming language, the values are represented without a thousands separator. And we can do that by using the as.numeric function and the gsub function, as you can see in line 5 of the code. And within the gsub function, we need to specify a comma. Then we need to specify quotes without any input. So basically we are replacing the comma by nothing. And then we also need to specify the name of our vector object. So in this case, our vector object is called myvec. And then we are storing the output of this in a new vector object, which is called myvec updated. So if you run line 5 of the code, you can see that a new vector object appears at the top right of RStudio, and we can print this vector to the RStudio console by running line 6 of the code. And then you can see that we have created a new vector, which is consisting of the same values as our previous vector. However, this time the values are formatted properly as numeric values. So in this first example, I have explained how to convert a vector with commas as thousand separators to numerical values. However, it is also possible to convert the columns of a data frame to numerical values, and this is what I want to show you in the next example, starting at line 8 of the code. So if you run lines 8 to 10 of the code, you can see that a new data frame object appears at the top right of RStudio, which is called myData. And we can click on this data frame to see the structure of our data in a new window. And as you can see, our example data frame contains 3 rows and 3 columns. And you can also see that the numbers in the first and in the second columns contain commas as thousand separators. So if we want to remove all these commas of all the columns with thousand separators, then we can apply the code that you can see in lines 12 to 16. So in line 12 of the code, I'm first specifying the names of the columns that I want to change. So in this case, the columns with commas as thousand separators are called x1 and x2. So if you run line 12 of the code, you can see that a new vector object appears at the top right of RStudio, which is called colConf. And this vector object contains the 2 names of our columns that we want to change. Then in line 14 of the code, I'm duplicating our data because I want to keep an original version of our data. So if you run line 14 of the code, you can see that another data frame object appears at the top right, which is called myData updated. And at this point, this data frame is consisting of exactly the same values as our input data frame. However, in lines 15 and 16 of the code, I'm using the lapply function in combination with a user-defined function to remove the comma separators in all of the columns that we have specified in our vector colConf. So if you run lines 15 and 16 of the code, our data frame is updated, and we can have a look at this updated data frame by clicking on the data frame object at the top right. And then you can see that the comma separators in the first 2 columns have been removed. So in this video, I have explained how to modify numbers with comma separators using the R programming language. However, in case you want to learn more on this topic, you could check out my homepage, statisticsglobe.com, because on the homepage I have recently published a tutorial in which I'm explaining the content of this video in some more detail, and I will put a link to this tutorial into the description of the video. Furthermore, if you have liked the video, I would be very happy if you leave me some positive feedback in the comments, and make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel to get notifications in future when I'm releasing new videos to the channel. That's it for this video. Thanks a lot. See you next time. Bye bye.